Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of Typical Manga Review is centered on My Hero Academia, Chapter 146, Temporary Transfers. Possible actual English title pending. And we open with pretty much where we left off last week. Fatgum declaring that in the sprawl of spears and shields, we're the winners. And indeed they are, because they just, Fitgum there just cratered the wall. He looks to Kirsten like, you conscious kid? Like, he's barely, so it's me, it's Fat. I'm just doing some weight watching. Come on, you gotta get what I'm saying from context, right? Like, I'll protect you, Fat. Gotta do what I can. And Fat comes kind of like noting this, like, he's thinking back to when Kirsten first came to him. It's like, never thought I'd see the day you'd bring someone along, Tamaki. I saw you in the sports festival. I welcome kids with can-do energy and with open arms. This kid over here always gets nervous in front of those cameras and ends up in last place every year. No need to talk about me. And Kirsten knows that fourth kind kind of said the same thing to him. Having to amongst this guy in the office raises morale, but that's all I have. And I want to be more than that. I want to be a hero like Crimson Wright who can protect people for real. I want to change. And that's why I asked Tamaki Senpai for such a ridiculously huge favor and had him introduce me to you, sir. I don't want to be the kind of person that simply stands by and watches when others are in danger. I don't want to be that kind of person anymore. And in the present, Fatgum is looking at this like, even a state like this, it's over already. Of course, Rappa disagrees. Like, this is the battle to the death. I'm not dead yet. Like, this guy's way too tough. Aren't you supposed to be a spear? Did the barrier dampen the blow even then? Of course, Fatgum's like, he's also rebel because like, he's used up all his protective fat. Like, his body's done. He's used up everything he's got. What can I do? There's first aid supplies over there. Tend to the kid. No, tend to the man's wounds. Fatgum's surprised by this and thinks it might be a trap, but do I look like the type who does traps? 10 guys like tries to warn him against this because like, my duty to control you and your lust for battle. Obey me. Think about the reason a beast like you, whose bread and butter is violence, is to be allowed to be here. What is your duty, Rappa? Of course, Rappa responds by just kicking him in the throat. I mean, 10 guys didn't even have left any. According to Rappa, 10 guys didn't have any energy left to throw up a barrier anyway. So be quiet. It's easy to be quiet. And I'm beat up too. My bones are broken. I can't raise my arms. So what do you want then? Fatgum asks. A fight. I want us to kill each other. You heard tell I came from an underground fight club, right? A fight club where you could go to town with your quirk. There weren't many who could take a punch from me and stay on their feet. Even those that could would always beg for their lives in the end. You understand now, right? The pain of not being able to do what I wanted. The kind of power that only comes from putting your life on the line. I wanted that kind of brawl. You two were superb. You met the challenge. Especially the redhead. I've taken a personal interest in you. We'll continue this death match. So heal up. Next time I'll be sure to kill you. Of course, Fatgum's like, you're gonna be arrested and locked up, you know. I mean, you don't get it, do you? There ain't no next time. You lose. Like hell. Nobody's dead. It's a draw. It ain't a draw, so some more sportsmanship. But it's like, that's the policy of an oddball for you. His loyal leader's own desire is coming off strong. I mean, Fatgum's like, it doesn't sense any ulterior motive behind his words, but in any case, joining up with the rest of it was like, hey, this ain't gonna happen. So he kind of focuses to Kirishima now, like thinking about when he saw Kirishima calling himself pathetic and ashamed of himself. It's like, Tamaki introduced you to me. I was convinced that he win somehow. You were a man who understood his own weakness. And Rappa declares, I want another proper go at killing him, man to man. Well, you're still to yourself, who you thought were so pathetic, and now you're not just a hero. You're a true man, acknowledged even by an enemy. This ought to stop the bleeding for the time being. Can't say I like it, but you gotta rest. I gotta let you rest for a while. You good and yet healed yet? I'll kill him. As if, just leave him be. Hey, as long as you're open up a little bit here. Guess it's kind of weird to ask you since I'm here and all, but what are you doing stuck in a small-time gang like this one? That'd be because Overhaul's the only guy I ever lost to. He told me to join his little gang, appeared out of nowhere to picking a fight. We're talking underground fights here. It all depends on who wins and who loses, naturally. Then I died. Or so I thought, but then I was back to normal. I've challenged him 5 times since I joined the gang and lost all 5. A perfect loss record. I only spent all this time here to beat him one day. Of course, Fat comes realizing the implications of this. If Chisaki's able to take this guy's speed and power and handle them no problem, and while he himself is that strong, he lets his underling do the battling, why doesn't he come out to fight? I mean, he ain't here, is he? He's either hiding or on the run. What's Chisaki want to do? 10 guys like, don't get cocky. Who would give intel to... He said he reinstated the Yakuza. Dude! I don't know all the details, but I overheard him talking once. Said he'd be spreading something and lots of it. Said he'd need money too, and that if he could get enough, the day he carries it out is right around the corner. And we're cutting to Area and Overhaul. And there's like, wonder if they're being any use. Don't want to say it, but this is the end of the Hasakai, isn't it? Overall, like, as long as the boss and I are around, the Hasakai won't die. Most of our henchers are with the boss. They won't follow my ideas. Even though I'm the one who values the boss's will the most out of any of them. As long as we have this finished product and this serum, us gangsters can stage a comeback. And this incident's going to be the talk of the town for all the dilettantes out there. I can see it now. The drug, feared by heroes. That's the sort of thing they'll eat up. And they'll come running at us with the funding in hand. So it's time you went to work, transfer temps. And we see behind him, walking away behind him and his other guy, and Eri, none other than Himiko Toga and Twice. And with a turned on look on her face, like Toga's like, sure will, and Twice is determined, you leave it to us, Overhaul. And that's where the chapter ends. And Kirishima gets some props on this one, that's for sure. Like, Kirishima's development is pretty good on this. Like I said, as Fatcom notes, he's being respected by even his own enemies now. He may have even gotten himself a proper arch villain. So that'd be cool. Arch nemesis. Let's see here. I like also how Fatcom makes me wonder. Like I said, I've wondered more than once about what Fatcom's past is like, because he was convinced to take Kirishima in, and apparently it's because part of the reason because he's someone who knew his own weakness and felt himself so pathetic. But it's like, and it might be why he took Tamaki in too. Come to think of it. But then we're also seeing like Fatcom's like, kid, you're in. You've proven yourself more than just a hero. You're also like acknowledged by an enemy. Rappa is an interesting type too. Like, I always kind of have a weird thing with these like Blood Knight, these Kenpachi types. That's basically what this is. Like, they have a weird sort of honor to them. They love to fight. They'll fight to death. They'll do all this. Everything else is negotiable. So he's willing to help Fatcom and Kirishima heal up just for the chance to fight them again down the line, and even give them whatever they want because they beat him. And you also get the implication that, with as powerful as we saw him be, the fact that Overhaul could beat him 5 times straight without a problem tells you a lot about what Overhaul can do. I mean, we already kind of got a glimpse of that with Magne, but still, now the heroes are kind of getting the idea. Let's see here. Then we also have end us off on Toga and Twice. That ought to be an interesting combination. The person who can create duplicates combined with the person who can metamorph, who can morph. There's some definite room for like messing with people there. Though it's not quite as dangerous as I thought it might be, because apparently like Twice can technically only replicate one person at a time. It's just that when you make clones of himself, they can also make clones of themselves. That's why he had that whole traumatic incident from before. But if he clones Himiko, then he only gets one clone of Toga. He only gets one Toga clone and Toga herself. So they can only have like 2 people besides Twice at a time. So that'll be that. We can also see, and it seems like Overhaul's interested in showing chaos, like showing like fear and all that, because like I say, he's going to produce a drug that heroes all over the world are going to be just terrified of. Because that is a scary thing in the world of superpowers. They can take away your superpower. It's like a drug that immediately renders you incapable of walking, for a non-superpower society. Also, one thing that's worth noting here is that he pretty much Overhaul killed Rappa in pretty much the exact same way he did Magne. So it makes you wonder if he was able to restore Magne for whatever reason, or if that was part of the price to work for Overhaul. Because obviously you got something going on here, but hard to say what. But at least at this point, with this moment, the Villain Alliance has made their appearance. I was saying early on that they were too hyped up about possibly being there to not be there. That's what you call conservation of detail. The moment something like that gets mentioned, it has to be relevant. It's a tricky thing to strike, tricky balance to strike, but there you go. Trying to think if there's anything too much here to get into. Sorry, I'm getting quiet right now. It's like I said, the main thing is just like the culmination of Kirishama's development. Like he really is truly well in a hero now for sure. I do like the fact that fact was like, is this a trap? The way it looked like the type who does traps. So we still see Eri kind of like just all there, little and terrified. So that's still kind of in the process, but still underway. Like some people suggested, like wondering if maybe they gave Toga a sample of Eri's blood so they can rescue her and think they got her out. That comes with risk though, because like, would a sample of Eri's blood do them any good outside of the obvious thing of helping Toga transform? Because what if she can actually, they can actually like do something about like what Overhaul's been doing with her blood? Because I don't think he's gonna want competition. Still, I am eager to see just what Twice and Toga can do here. Wonder if Deku will pick up on any similarities between him and the girl he fought in the indie licensing exam. I forget her name. What her name was supposed to be offhand, but that's still. Yeah. All right. So I think like I said, I can't really think of too much adding that hasn't really come up in the review itself. So I'm just going to go ahead and call the review here. I think that has been My Hero Academia, Chapter 146, Temporary Transfers, English title pending. Until next week, see you later, and bye bye.